I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 3 on 3 podcast. That's right. You're tuned in to the best basketball podcast on earth. I am joined with my brothers here. I got Ev, Lou, Pod Mamba in the background. Happy as all get out that his LA Dodgers have won the World Series.
Mhm.
Congratulations to
Big up, big up,
Pod
big up, big up.
Mamba. Yes. I know
Well
it's
played, well
here.
played. In true Freddie Freeman fashion.
Yes, shout out to you, sir. But welcome back, guys. We got the vibes, and we got a stock-friendly theme on this show for you. We'll be diving right into it. We'll be talking about the NBA Cup with the chaos, and John Morant reportedly clashing with his head coach. Is Memphis melting down before the cup can even heat up? And then we're going to the rising stocks. We're gonna talk about the Bulls. They undefeated. They looking like the kings of Wall Street out here. Austin Reeves, he's a certified baller, man. Certified baller status, maybe. And let's not sleep on Philly and the Spurs. They quietly stacking wins and respect. And then, last but not least, we're going to talk about the falling stocks, man. The portfolio is very diverse here, okay? We have a diverse portfolio here. We'll be talking
You get
about,
into your
you know,
Vanguard. You get into your
listen, man,
Vanguard.
the diverse portfolio here, man. We got the T-Wolves, man. They're a little tame right now. Rockets looking a little shaky, and Orlando, I don't know if there's any magic left in that wand, man. But let's get into it.
Ooh.
First and foremost, guys, let's talk about this NBA Cup. It kicked off Friday evening. Honestly, and I should have checked the dates. That's bad reporting on me. I felt like it came quickly this year. Like, am I the only one? I felt like the NBA
Yeah,
Cup
now I
just
thought,
got here before
yeah,
we.
I want to say, I feel like it's a November thing, but we're in November.
It was like first November. Like, but we just made it.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's
feel
not
like
November.
we just
Yeah.
had 2 weeks into the league, and then we already into the cup. Yeah, I feel like it probably came at least 2 weeks earlier than last season,
Yeah.
but I don't know what in terms of what they're looking at in terms of the scheduling, but yeah, it definitely feels like it came 2 weeks earlier than last year. Because from what I recall, we were starting to have this conversation as Thanksgiving was approaching. So teams are still getting their bearings, but hey, why not get the competition going ASAP? You know what I mean? Cup is
Yeah.
here. Let's get it.
Go ahead, Ev.
I think that's exactly the point, though. They came out with an exciting first week, and then they want to get right into cup action now from the standpoint of adding as much relevance to these first few weeks of the season as possible, right? Put as much juice in it to get some eyeballs before they run into the championship taking place at the beginning of December, and then getting into that, that Christmas run. So I think that's what the NBA is trying to do is really capture that first month of the season. And I'll say that even coming into it, it kicking off on Friday night, there were some surprises, right? Some teams pulling out victories over teams that you wouldn't have expected coming off, coming into this season. So I like it adding a little variability, a little juice to the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it definitely forces you to tune in early. So you don't have that, ramp up or walk into the season that you normally would have. You just got to start tuning in and get right to the action. And just like you said, we saw some teams pull out a win. We were like, oh, I didn't see that happening, but okay, we're here for it. We're here for it. So hopefully this momentum continues and we have a great, great cup this season, and we'll see how it goes. But definitely was a little quick for my taste, but I'm here for it. I just want competitive basketball all year round, and I'm 100% here for it. So,
All year round. Let's get it.
Talk your Blazers, Tech Hans. You don't have to be humble. Talk your Blazers.
Oh,
man.
we're gonna get there. We didn't get to the rising stocks yet. We didn't get there yet. Don't rush the show, man. Don't rush the show. We getting there. But before we talk about the great Blazers, man, who are fourth in the West, I'm just saying, come see us. Is
Hello.
this Ja Morant, man? This Ja Morant. And Ev, I'm gonna start with you. I'm gonna say what I gotta say, but I'm gonna start with you because you've been a huge fan of Ja ever since he jumped into the league. Been a supporter, been riding for him. But if those who don't know, he's been suspended for comments or actions detrimental to the team. He allegedly got into it, and there's an interview that's been circulating on social media where he was asked about what happened, how do you feel, and his answer was just ask the coaching staff. Ask the coaching staff. And he alluded to them basically not playing him and sitting him and thinking that was the better option. It's not a good look. Doesn't look good. Ev, I know there's so many ways that we could take it. What's your first point of view that you want to tackle with this whole Ja incident, man, in Memphis?
So the first thing I would say is that, in a lot of situations, two things can be true. And what I mean by that is that, one, Ja Morant is in no place to get the benefit of the doubt in a dispute like this because of what his history has been these past 3 years, right? We know about all the issues that took place, him getting suspended and then the injuries afterwards. But with that said, though, he's had beef with this coaching staff since they fired Taylor Jenkins last year. Ja Morant, when healthy, has led this team to multiple playoff runs, right, and playoff success since he's been into the league. You fire a coach that ran an offensive scheme that fit him, one of the most pick and roll heavy teams in the league. You bring in a coach who moves them away from what's been successful for him, making him one of the least pick and roll running teams in the league, right? Coming in even before this season, there was tension between how Ja likes to play and how the coaching staff wanted to play. So you get into this season, he's still up averaging good in points per game. He's leading the team in minutes, but you're challenging your superstar early to try to change the culture that's been successful for him since he's I don't want to say reestablished Memphis identity, but took it from the previous grit and grind identity to a new identity now, right? As the man that's supposed to be the face of your franchise, he's gonna have some frustration when he feels like the building is turning against him. What I'd say is that this is a small town issue that I don't know if Memphis is big enough of a franchise to be able to handle in that.
F. You said two things can be true. What are the two things that can be true?
The two things that can be true is that Ja's not in a place to have any sort of subordination because of his checkered history, because of
But that has nothing to do
because of his transgressions in the past.
But what does it have to do with how they, again, even with this stuff, because this also was part of the conversation, what does it have to do with the production on court? What does it have to do with the production of your team on the court?
You don't think that matters?
It doesn't.
Okay, so
it doesn't, because even no. If we take out the fact that he was suspended, in terms of the locker room and the culture there, and then also the production on the court, what does that have to do with the production on the court? Because we can all agree with, nothing that he did was illegal. Yes, it may be in terms of, as Hans likes to bring up, actions detrimental to the conduct of the team.
Detrimental to the team.
But he did nothing illegal, for one. For two, also at the end of the day, this is your franchise player. Because if that was the case, you would have got rid of him in the second incident.
What are we talking about?
What do you mean? No. But it's no. Because what I'm saying is no. Because we're talking about in terms of the changing of style.
What I said a little bit. You twisting what I said a little. I'm not. Listen, I'm a ride for Ja. I'm not saying he's at fault.
It's not even right with Ja. It's just like,
so when there's perception can be misconstrued as reality. That's all I'm saying. So in the court of public opinion,
you're saying that he does not have a leg to stand on in terms of his comments based on previous what was going on with those gun situations. That's not fair, bruh. It's not. Because what is the production of your team? What is the production of your team? If you really
What?
thought that way, you would no, Hans.
Yo,
All this,
when
no. All
when
this
did the
shaking of the head.
rules just when did the rules of
No.
life
All this
just
shaking of
change?
G,
Just
if
because
that
we're
was
in
the
the
case, why
NBA?
no, why did no, if that's the case, why didn't you get rid of him? You can't
Yo,
have it
Hold
both
on.
ways. Don't
yes, you
just do this
can.
shaking of the head like, get rid of him
Yes,
So
you
then.
be clear.
can. You can have it
Get
Be
both
rid
clear.
of
Be
him
ways.
then.
clear.
You're the
No, you can't
boss.
have it both
My
ways.
issue.
No, you can't have it both ways,
You're the
bro. You
boss.
can't say like, oh, all of a sudden now it's an issue. He has no leg to stand on based on what decisions are.
No,
If he was
I
really
don't.
that
I
big
don't
of an
think
issue, get rid of him. Is
that's not
Ja
what
their
Ev was
franchise
saying.
player?
Ev
Yes
was
or
So
no?
saying
let me
that
just say,
he doesn't have a lot of
yeah,
credibility. He has a leg because his performance on the court gives him his leg. He has leverage. But
right.
what Ev, I think, was
Credibility is
really
that he
trying
is
to
a
say
star player of
was,
the team.
huh?
He is the guy of the team.
Yo, I guess here's what I'm saying, and I don't mean to interject. We have a
You
Hall of
should
Famer,
interject.
literally one of the best, literally one of the best shooting guards, I would say, in NBA history, Allen Iverson, who went through image problems, right? And how it affected how he got treated, how he got placed, et cetera, et cetera. We have one of the best forwards in NBA history by the name of Carmelo Anthony, right? Who, once you
Do it
get a
now.
bad rap, you get the literally one of the best like forwards ever in the game. And you mean to tell me Ja, who hasn't even gotten to those heights, is going to be excused from that same bar? At the end of the
No,
day,
I'm not
fair or
saying he
not,
shouldn't be
hold on.
excused.
At the end of the day, fair or not, Lou, whether it contributes to his game or not, you have to understand you're still in a corporate setting, right? You have to understand what your reputation brings. And if your reputation brings things that are negative, unfortunately, you have to conduct yourself differently. He doesn't
You know what,
have,
Hans?
he
You know what, Hans?
doesn't get that.
Hans,
He
you know
doesn't
what? You
have
brought up
that.
a great point. What did both of those organizations do eventually?
Eventually, they're not there yet.
We getting
No,
so that's where
They're
the
not there
but that's the
yet.
conversation goes.
conversation we need. No, but that's the conversation we need to have next. Is
So
that
let's
what's going
talk
to
about
happen?
it. So let's
I
talk
think it
about it. What
will.
did
Because
they
if
do in
that,
the
but
what
no,
did
but
they
if
do in
that's
the
the
off
case,
season?
but that's what I'm saying. If that's the case,
I
move
think
on
it.
from him.
I think
Well,
they
what did they
will.
do in the offseason? They extended Scottie Pippen Jr. They brought in Ty Jerome, which was the best, or Pop Mama might say Lonzo, but a lot of folks say Ty Jerome was the best backup point guard in the free agent market. Why do you bring in why do you make sure you lock in two very solid point guards when the best player on your team is a point guard and should be getting the lion's share of those minutes? Yes, one would argue on one side it's availability. The other side is, again, as I said, these are issues that stem back to last season as it relates to Ja's frustration with the offense that was being brought in. So when you re-upped on the coach and you got rid of Taylor Jenkins, you signed up for an offensive game plan that wasn't in Ja's best interest. I go back to, I think this is an issue where Memphis isn't a big enough market to really navigate this. I think what we're seeing now in Memphis is a version of what we've been seeing in New Orleans right now, a franchise that
With
doesn't know how
Zion,
to grab the reins on their superstar player and make it work.
And
And
what I
so, yeah, I
don't,
wouldn't be surprised at all if we hear in the future. This is the next disgruntled superstar
I'm
right
about
here.
to say,
yeah, and
if they're
that's
gonna
it.
do it, then do it. But like, it's not. We can't paint it as like, oh, it's strictly because if you're gonna
No,
weigh on the fact that strictly because of previous transgressions using the Allen Iverson and the Miller,
it's
how many
not.
years did Yellow spend in New
You're
York?
using you're turning the words. And how many years did Melo suffer in New York? So you're
That was
turning
but his choice.
you're
That was his
turning
choice.
it though. You're turning it because at the end of the day, I feel like there's varying degrees, and that's what we don't know, right? Like we don't know to what degree
The
does
reason why I'm saying it's
X.
not turning it is because we're talking about a specific coaching change in which, in terms of a style of play that will benefit him versus did not. He is not looking for something different, bruh. Like, yo,
No, why are we glazing over his freaking Lou? Lou,
My G.
You
You know
have a
somebody who I would have
responsibility.
never disagreed with what did
Lou,
AI do in terms of what
Lou,
was this?
let me
Like,
finish. He has a responsibility. The
Trying to
way
get
he
me.
interacted with the media, you thought that was becoming? You get what I'm saying? Like that's what it is. Had he kept it PC, right? Had
we
he kept it
inherently disagree
PC,
because we disagreed with the Jimmy situation last year. So this is something we're not going to agree on because I supported how Jimmy was getting because at the end of the day is Jimmy, the only time that Jimmy was able to get respect is when he was like, okay, the franchise, y'all think that y'all are bigger than me and what I brought to y'all. So guess what? I'm acting
and
up. So the thing about it is we inherently are going to disagree on this because again, at the end of the
and
day,
Jimmy's a
I'm
great
not saying
example.
that Ja is bigger than the organization. However, the reason why your organization is relevant is because of this particular person.
And
So
you
guess what? Yes, they deserve that particular rope and they deserve that respect. Because if Ja was not there, you would not even be in the conversation. Which one? What, Tony? Tony was the last guy that you had that was that made your team relevant. Zebo? Zebo?
Let me
Really?
add a
Come on, man.
little wrinkle to this too. I want to make sure it's clear. I'm not talking about the comments that Ja made to the media. That is what it is. We don't know what was said in that locker room that they said was the insubordination, which is the reason that they
which is the reason
suspended
got
him.
suspended, yes.
Right. It wasn't about the comments he made to the interview
No.
to
He
the
got
media.
suspended. The comments he made before he got suspended was before that, before he
Right.
even got to the interview.
Right.
Yeah, for
Definitely.
sure,
So
for sure, for
and,
sure, for
and,
sure.
and so to be clear, again, this is every year we have a disgruntled superstar,
This is
and
wild though,
it's just
yo.
a waiting game. It's a matter
And
of time.
here's my rebuttal to it. Here's my rebuttal to it. You either It's a rough game. It's a rough game. You either know how to play it, right? Or you find your way, right? And I'm glad you brought up the Jimmy Butler situation. He went from being a franchise player, right? And then when his money wasn't getting right, and which he was unhappy, which be unhappy about, because get your paper. You know what I'm saying? These are billionaires playing with pawns, right? Get your paper, right? He went from being a franchise player to what? Right? He's second now. He's no longer going to be a franchise player. You know what I'm saying? His legacy is like it's going down. He's not going to be a franchise player any other team, right? I don't want to see that happen to Ja, right? Because of your inability to play the game, I don't want Ja to be traded, right? And end up being second fiddle to somebody else on a great team. And listen, let's say they win and everything like that. But are we gonna sit here and really say that Ja's a second fiddle kind of guy? You get what I'm saying? And that's what I don't want to happen to his legacy. You get what I mean? Like that's what I see in the head. Like now, granted, I do agree with Ev when he was saying about they had those and I know we got to wrap up in 2 minutes. They had those issues though with Taylor because remember he switched offense before they let him go. Remember he switched it. Ja got upset, right? They switched it back. You get what I mean? Then they went on a run. They got rid of him. So I think it's more so. I think it may be 50-50 in the sense of he's not happy with how the offense is being ran, which ultimately makes him unhappy with the coach. That's where I'm really getting it.
So I throw a couple things real quick. They switched it back, but remember the coach they had now, he was the assistant coach last year that brought in the offense as the
Yeah.
assistant coach last year, right? So he's been trying to do this for 2 years. Now, where this ultimately ends up, right? I'll say this. It's funny. Last week we were talking about there's 2 teams in Texas alone that need a point guard. That's all I'm saying. All right. Um,
More one than the other.
and on
So,
top of that, there's
You
a
saying
team
Ja the
in.
Rockets, man?
Well, I'm gonna throw one more out there.
Ja
There's
to
a team.
Dallas?
There's a team in Atlanta. Every time Johnson slips up and
yo,
does something,
Ev took it.
they
Ev
they
took the words
ask
out my
me.
mouth.
They ask me what we got to do to get Ja. So there's
I
the
mean, we'll
3.
take him.
Listen, and let me tell you something right now. And I
Ja
don't
for
mean to
trade.
put
Who
this
Look,
says
business.
no?
I don't mean to put this
look, here,
business out here, but if Ja go to Atlanta, I'm moving back, Hans. All right.
look.
Come through,
Do what you
baby.
I'll
gotta
say
do.
this, man. I'll say this.
1 minute, fellas.
My boy Shea Gilly, he had a new environment. He won a chip. If the same situation happens with Ja, I don't I'd be remiss to say that I don't see a similar trajectory.
From a legacy standpoint, you hit the nail on the head, Lou. To what you were saying, Hans, Lou, Jimmy was what 35, 36 when this went down for him. Jazz
It,
26, 27.
thank you. Exactly.
How old was AI when it happened? I'm just saying, y'all be careful. Y'all keep
Old as hell too.
at the end of the day, ain't nobody but two people have defeated the league. LeBron and Jordan. That's all I'm saying. Only two people I've seen defeated the league. All right, y'all. Let's move on to the next topic. All right, we're gonna go to our stocks teams, baby. So if you're investing, we're talking about our rising players, our rising stocks right now, teams that are really just out here. And since we left out with Lou, let's talk about these Bulls, man. These Eastern Conference leading Bulls right here, man. The Bulls right now are second, 5-1. They lost today. It's all right, but they're still out here, getting things done
I will
without
say,
Kobe
this,
White. Hold on, without Kobe, which is a huge key because he had a breakout season last season. He had a breakout season leading the team. I think the Bulls. I'll go first with my stock predictions. I'm buying, man. I'm out here. I'm buying. I'm buying this stock, man. I see the potential. I see where it could be. What say you, Lou, on your Bulls?
let's like one of the biggest things, man, is when you draft well. I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't know if I was a believer in Zilis or not. I was just like, I don't know if he's been such an integral piece. We knew what Giddy could do, seeing what he was doing in OKC and so on and so forth. He's been able to cook. Obviously, like he's a player that needs the ball in his hands, so he's been able to benefit with Kobe not playing.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off the bench, has been able to really cook as he did last season as well. Again, I'm going back to Bush. Bazulis, Bazulis really has really kind of like come in and fit in terms of that piece that we needed from that small forward, that 3-4 position, and really like gelled everything together. Like, okay, cool. We picked up a Coro, yeah, but it wasn't necessarily that. All right, great. Like, we another piece that we picked up was good in terms of like being able to help space out the forwards. Kevin Huter. All right, cool. Let's
I was
get us
about
a
to
shooter,
say, give
which
him a
is
shout out, man.
we did one of the pieces that we didn't have before. We needed to be able to. We have some guys that can shoot in general, but we have somebody that's specific. This is your role. Come in here and hit them. Just post up in the corner. This is what he did at Sacktown and so on in Atlanta as well. So it's good to be able to have that type of player. So now, what do we do now when Kobe comes back? Right, that's the big question. And we know Kobe came from a big year last year, and in averaging, 25 and 4. But what the great thing about Kobe is, we saw how he was able to play with both Levine and DeRozan on the court, right? So him being able to be malleable, right, and then figuring out, all right, how do I am most effective? Because hey, if he doesn't have the ball in his hand, he's an off-ball type of guy who also is a deep ball threat as well. If you have Huter on the floor, right? So cool. Like this is a guy that can hit you 6 threes in a game. But you know what? Also, depending what type of lineup we're doing, if he's the main guy running the point, we already know what he can do, right? In terms of being able to facilitate and be able to run our offense. So what I do think is at the end of the day is with him coming back, it's not going to necessarily be a detriment. I think that what's going to happen is, Giddy he's going to have to kind of figure. We're going to figure out how do we then mesh both of these together. But if anybody, especially because Kobe has been in the league long enough, you've been able to play. alongside of Levine and DeRozan, this is not going to be anything that's going to be anything new to him in terms of how. And then also with him being one of the more veteran guys on the team now, right? He's going to be able to come in and say, okay, cool. I know how we're going to be able to run this offense in a way that makes sense with playing with Giddey as well. So like, I don't think that we're going to miss a beat when he comes back off injury. I know Evan is waiting. I know you Evan's waiting. We split. I mean, I know you were tight when we handed y'all that L. I mean, you be able to get your look back. You know what I mean? Narrow margin, but cool. We'll have a great season against each other.
Let me just say, in honor of Lou's Bulls beating my Knicks on Friday night. For you video watchers, I'm decked out in my Lou fit today. I got my Scully and my hoodie. My salute. Let me just say a couple things real quick. I appreciated you getting off that Bulls love fest there for the last 7 minutes. If we're going to keep this to a stocks analogy, okay?
Yo, I don't get it often, bro. I don't.
If you were listening,
that's why I let you cook. I was like, look, I ain't saying nothing. I was like, yo, do it because when we get to the Blazers, I'm gonna get mine off. So
I
stayed
on mute. I stayed on mute.
So did I, man. Do your thing, brother. Because listen.
So speaking of get it while you can, all right. To keep it with a stocks analogy, if you're riding with the Bulls, I suggest you sell now. Okay, get your money now. Get your money now. All right. My boy Lou said we always knew with Josh Giddey. I was done at that. We always knew. Okay, I'm cool.
I didn't say we always knew with Josh Giddey.
But
I said, when I said we always knew with Josh Giddey, the conversation was pointed to Kobe.
That's the last thing I was gonna say. I think it has to be a mandate. It needs to be put in the minutes and the bylaws that he's either Kobe White or you refer to him as White. Okay, because you threw out about 7 Kobe's like in a moment. You can't
make sure that
you're not
Kobe,
allowed to.
We'll use him as White. All
right, yeah. Just put
CW. How about that?
Pop Mama, put the words on the screen. Kobe White when he's throwing all those Kobe's out.
We got all these Kobe's around.
Right. But I will say this. I will say this. Giddey has looked incredible this year, and he's even spoke to what it means to him when you have a team that believes in you, right? That gives you the confidence to go out and play freely. He always was a unique basketball player, right? Not necessarily your traditional point guard, but a guard that had the skill set to do a lot of things. And you saw it really first during his time with the national team in Australia. When he had opportunity to run the show, you saw him able to flex, all the different facets of his game. And the Bulls are letting him do it right now. And just exactly what you said with Kobe White being out, he's had the ability to do that. Buzelis, he's just such a fascinating athlete, right? The ability to do a little like he's shifty, he's got a good handle, and the size to him. So I will say this. Yes, this may be the high point of y'all season, from a success standpoint. But you all do have fascinating pieces that I think you can build off of. And we might not have been saying that 2 weeks ago. So you have an intriguing roster on your hands. And really from what y'all had the last few years, that's pretty awesome that you have some pieces. Okay, we could build on this, we can add to this, and we can put something together, especially in the East. That can have us ascending. Now it's all about just making the right personnel decisions going forward. But no, I like what I'm seeing so far.
Got you. All right, fellas, let's move on to another rising team. Let's talk about staying the East Coast real quick. Also 5-1 right now, the Philadelphia 76ers, man. Even with the process, as he's called,
as it continues.
Listen, Lou, they never said how long the process would be, all right? Just said it was a process, okay? With him being on a minutes restriction, They're still
Yo,
coming
H
out
was.
here. They're still coming out here being formidable. Lou's favorite rookie. I think you even said he might be a challenger for rookie of the year. I think you said that last episode, right?
I did.
PJ,
I'm standing
right?
on it. You know me.
Yeah, he's out here
Edge comb.
really
Yep.
doing his thing. Maxi is really taking control of the offense now, and the team is, I think, running through him more so than Embiid. They're really looking solid, man. PG, who honestly he still hasn't been back, and the team's not missing him. So as far as Philly goes, man, are you guys buying? Are you selling on Philly stock? I'll start with you,
What I'm buying on Philly right now is that they now have a post Embiid identity, and I think for them that's the most important thing
Great point.
that they could have stumbled upon this year. To have now Maxi is strictly the guy, right? It's not even questioned
Hmm.
anymore, right? Maxi is the alpha on that team. He has a running mate in Edgecombe that is exciting. And as a rookie, he's not going to keep up the numbers that he has the first week of the season, week and a half of the season. I don't think, but you're going to see a solid rookie campaign from him, and he's already shown that his game, his style is NBA ready, right? So now you have two pieces that is like, okay, we could check this off as a 1A and a 1B, and anything that's around this is bonus slash ancillary, right? And I think that's what's most important for them, because ultimately they needed to turn the page from a leadership standpoint. As much as I love Embiid, right? And Hans knows this. I'm critical of my favorite players. I heckled Kevin Garnett one time at a Hawks game, and that's my favorite. That's
You
my
did.
favorite player.
You did. That was fair.
So I'm gonna say this about Embiid: when you get fined 50K because you're doing the DX stuff at fans at Wizards games, all right, and you 30 and you 31, bruh, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it, right? And so, truth be told, and B can't be the leader of that team. And B being the leader of that team is unfortunately why they've gotten where they've gotten to these past 8 years. Now you have an opportunity to hand it over to another leader ascending, hand him the keys, and now let him be along for the ride. And that is a dynamic that we weren't expecting coming into this season. And that is what I think will allow Philly to ascend more than we expected coming into this season, because you
Yeah.
have a culture dynamic changing.
Not expecting it, but that's exactly where it should have gone because we've seen time and time again, Embiid was never a leader. You know what I mean? It's just like how we talked about players like Kevin Durant and so on. You just because you're the best player on the floor doesn't mean you are the leader of the team, right? We've seen it out of the was it the 2023 playoffs, and I mean, and how MB came out of that again, did not show leadership in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, no, I'm happy to see that Maxi. They gave the keys to Maxi. Was like, and now I know y'all don't want to. You know what I mean, y'all don't want to. It's cool. I don't need nobody to jump on the bandwagon. But yo, the way the Edgecombe is playing is what he's you know what I mean, 25-5. Is putting himself in prime position to be, you know what I mean, rookie of the year. And Maxi really has a
No,
Robin to his
I'm
back.
with you on that. I second that right now. I
I
think he's
mean,
leading
yeah,
because
he is leading, and then not
it's not Ace, it's not Coop, so it's
he
definitely
and
him.
he, nobody's making noise like he is. And you know what? If the process is continuing, I'll buy the process with what I'm seeing with Maxi and Edgecombe. Um, we see two guys that are hungry really to make it happen, and not just hungry to make it happen. We see what they're producing on the court, man. And you know what? Fine, it's great to see. And B, take that back seat, just do what you do, be that dynamic center that we need. But let us, you know what I mean? Let us do what we do.
I don't know, although I did mention it on the first episode, I still don't know if I'm buying yet. Here's why. Embiid has to still show me some more maturity because right now the keys are in Maxi's hands, right? We all have agreed like he's that guy. Does Embiid fully embrace that? Right now, he's forced to because he's on a minutes restriction. Hands are kind of tied behind his back. Once that restriction is lifted, will it ever? I don't think it will be. I think they should give him the Kawhi treatment, honestly, and to keep his hands tied behind his back. But let's say Philadelphia gets fast and loose with it, right? And they lift the restrictions. He starts to play more. We get into close games. Is Embiid going to be mature enough to relinquish the reins in game and let Maxey make those decisions? Now, I think Philly should do the Kawhi treatment to keep Embiid, kind of in reins, in order, protect their asset, et cetera, et cetera. But it is something that I do wonder about. Will Embiid keep that, in check so the team can win as a team?
That's
But
fair. That's fair.
just my
But I
thoughts.
think
That's why
it's
I'm not
like
I'm not buying quick yet.
you're not buying yet.
Not
You
buying
still
yet.
watching?
Still watching, man.
You
It's
watching?
on my list. It's on my
Okay,
list. All right, fellas.
valid.
Let's move on to the West Side. Let's get our, prerequisite Laker. You know, you know what? No, we do teams first. Let's talk about the San Antonio Spurs. Okay, let's talk about the San Antonio Spurs. As we were recording, they are 5-0, second in the Western Conference. They have been putting on a show. We all know, and we talked about it last episode. So I really don't think there's much for us to continue on here. You guys have stated it. These guards that they surrounded Wemby with, these guards who are just, ready to lob it up, but yet still make good decisions, can put the ball in the hole. Wendy doing things on both sides. I think it's a good look. I am buying the Spurs. I know Pod Mamba and I had arguments in the comments saying that he didn't think the Spurs were going to make the playoffs. I think they are. I don't think they're playing. I think they're a playoff team. I'm buying on the Spurs.
This is mad random. But did he really come in dressed as Wade's trash statue?
Not
They
this
Talking
said,
about for
year.
Halloween?
okay, for Halloween, they said that I wasn't sure if it was true or not, but I mean, I seen
I
it in terms
can't. I
of on
can't
Twitter for
confirm or
Halloween.
deny.
They said he walked in with a mask of Dwayne Wade's trash statue figure as a mask, and if that's the case, put Wemby in the Hall of Fame right now. Because he's like, yo, F this league and everybody that it stands for, it's my league now. There's in essence to me that how Wemby's coming into this joint right now, especially this season. So I'm with you 1,000%, Hans. Yeah, no, I think that in terms of the work that Wemby has done off court, off season, and then also how they're using all the various guards, like we talked about last time. You're able to have four other guards that are able to facilitate Wemby at any time, and then Wemby to turn into a guard at any point. One thing I didn't mention last year and we talked about, I mean, affectionately how Evan loves the work that he's done with Hakeem. We've seen Wemby go to the mountaintops to be with be with the monks, get his zen, and then him be with, as we called, quote unquote Piccolo, as he got with KG. But also we forgot one in terms of how he got here. In terms of who he worked with to be able to get his yo-yo together. His handles together, and he got with Jay Crawford. And we're seeing in terms of it, how he's been able to get up and down the court, some of the stuff that he's been able to do in terms of his handles. I'm buying everything that has anything to do with Wemby this year, just because he's put in the work in the offseason and what he's been able to show his work product up until to this date. So I'm with you.
Got you. All right, guys, let's move on to another rising star. Austin Reeves, man.
And then we moved on. So what's next?
Austin Reeves, man. Is he
I
that
can't let the
dude?
pop mama get no love.
He's out here straight balling. Like legitimately balling. Do we need to put some respect on Austin Reeves' name? Or is this I got the ball in my hands. I gotta, make it do what it do. But he's rated as a top guard in the NBA right now, man. What's up, man? We buying or selling Austin Reeves? You go ahead on this, F.
I think I told you all offline a few days ago. If his name was Antoine Reeves, this would be the biggest story in the NBA right now. and teams will be lining up for that max contract this summer. But Austin Reeves has looked incredible. And what's more interesting to me about this story is that Austin Reeves has looked incredible. Luka Doncic has looked incredible. What's that going to mean when the third mandate, when the third amigo shows up? You know,
Who is it? Who is it, Evan?
that's
Say
what
his
we're
name.
all waiting for. You know, when the king shows up. You know,
Listen, man.
when Eddie Kane shows up, what's it going to look like? You know,
Say his name, Evan.
listen, man. You know, LeBron and them.
LeBron and
So
them.
LeBron and them, you know, because it's not just LeBron, it's what LeBron brings with him, right? So that's what's going to be fascinating. But yeah, AR-15 has looked incredible so far. What's funny was he gave Luka the golf clap when he scored 49, told him he should have hit the free throw to get to 50, and then
50,
showed him how to
yeah.
get to 50 himself.
Yeah.
That's and on that, what that does.
Who did he get the 50
is it-
on again, Ev? Which team?
oh man, you're gonna don't do that to me, Christian. I lost. It was the same team, the T Wolves.
It was the Kings. I
It was the Kings.
Yeah, it was the Kings. I think. Yeah.
My fault. No, that's bad. Cut that out and post that. But anyway,
I'm glad you guys found the last 2 minutes of this segment to talk about AR. Thank you.
well,
I mean,
well, let me just say this real quick.
you know,
Let me say this.
Worth 2 cents, man.
This is a fascinating year for the Lakers because yes, Luka extended, but the Lakers still have to show him, listen, we got the talent for you to win with long term. Now they're gonna have to sign Austin Reeves this summer, and the money's going up. All right.
Yesterday's price, not today's price.
Yes. But it does give, if I'm Luka Doncic, and it seems like they got a good buddy friendship too, right? They like the Jones on each other. This is a strong step in the right direction. That, hey, Luka, we got your running mate here already, so let's do this.
Yeah, you just gotta wait out LeBron. That's what they're doing. Wait out LeBron, send him packing, and you're good. You're good. But we'll see how that goes. All right, fellas. Like I said earlier, top of the show, we're diversing our portfolio. Okay, we're not just looking at the rising stocks. We're looking at the struggling ones, right? You know.
Got to sell some stuff off.
Yeah, but we gotta get rid of some stuff. You know, we gotta clean house. Let's start with the Dallas Mavericks. They have the number 1 pick. You know, the hype. They traded Luka, but they got Coop. That's supposed to satiate the fans for a while. You know, they did some things last season before Kyrie got injured. AD was looking good. Now AD has a calf issue. Coop at the points looking floppy. What's going on with the Dallas Mavericks, man? Are we holding on to this? Are we selling it? Selling it for parts? What's happening? As presently during our recording, they're second to last in the they're second to last in the Western Conference, man. I'm just saying.
Something else. You just put up what they put it up on the what's it called? The tow truck.
Listen, man, it might be a penny stock.
Drop
man.
it over the
Listen.
junkyard. I can't
Riding
stand
around.
it, bro. Fans
Listen,
is
man.
selling it for parts. That's crazy. I still think it's too early to tell. I mean, honestly, y'all, at the end of the day is when you have Kyrie and AD and Coop in terms of getting in the flow of it, they look great. You know, obviously when you don't have AD and Kyrie on the floor, Coop
Sorry,
is.
I was supposed to laugh at that part. My bad.
Go live, man. Because
You
today
said when you don't have AD,
you
it just was funny to me. I'm sorry. Keep going.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, look, we made this joke plenty of times when he was in, the City of Angels. So, I mean, your availability.
It's not AD's fault. He has that Texas weight on him now. He came into the season looking a little heavy.
I saw a post that said the reason they traded Luka is because he was heavy and having calf issues.
Yeah, those Achilles. AD has Achilles. He has tendinopathy in his Achilles. I mean, that Texas weight that it doesn't do well for those.
Let me
Achilles.
tell you something, man. At this
brisket
point, bro,
good,
like
though.
the way that we've been seeing, brisket is fire in Texas.
Brisket is
From
fire,
everybody that showed
Texas,
me.
man.
But what I will say is, and, we talked about this early on. Like at this point, man, Achilles tears are like ACLs now. So players are coming back at record times. Like it used to be at minimum, you were taking 8 to 9, like 8 to 12 months of recovery time, and we're seeing players come in within 6 months now. So I'm not particularly worried about that. But at the end of the day, let's be clear: if you don't have AD on the floor, if you don't have Kyrie on the floor, it doesn't matter if you have the first pick in the draft. That's not going to move the needle immediately. I mean, so PJ Washington is like, I mean, any of these guys that you have on the floor and are not going to move the needle with Cooper Flag. So you brought in Cooper Flag to be able to play with Kyrie Irving and AD and give yourself a shot for long term or like a long run into the playoffs. And you just don't have that right now. So yes, I know the Lakers, their management are feeling like they have the last laugh. Looking at Nico, like thank you, with skinny Luca and so on. But I mean, what we expected in terms of the Dallas Mavericks with having that complete team, we have yet to see it. So you know what I mean. I and Hans, I don't know if you're selling, but for me, I wasn't buying even when they made the trade last year. So you know what I mean. So for me, until I can see all of those folks healthy on the court, it's a sell for me for sure.
Um, I don't know. I don't
At least
think
this
they.
season.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Ev brought up a point in the chat, right? About a team, whether we should mention it or not. And I don't think it's just record; it's just how they look as well too. I don't think Dallas is looking great, even if AD was on the floor, right? You know how a team will give you flashes where you can kind of see where they're going, right? I don't see the flash. Like I don't see where they're going, and I don't know if it's Kyrie really being the one that puts it all together and makes it make sense. You get what I mean? So to your point, Lou, I think if I see Kyrie on the floor and it still doesn't make sense and it's looking disjointed and it's looking herky jerky, I might just let this one go too. You get what I mean? Like that's really what it is for
Got to
me.
see
Go
all
ahead,
of it
Kev.
together. Got to see all of it together.
Well, that's the exact problem. Two parts. One, they have a roster that was built for point guards, and they don't have a point guard.
Point
So
guards.
they have a bunch of finishers and no creative, right? And so we talked last week about should Cooper Flag be interning in that role or not? But it's really like even if he wasn't, who else
Who would
is
pass it
going
to
to
him?
do it consistently, right? Who else is going to make those plays? So they don't have a roster that's built for who they have available right now. The problem that they have, and I thought about it while having the Spurs conversation. It rings true for the Mavericks conversation as well. As competitive as the West is right now, banking these five wins that the Spurs has right now is going to be important when it comes down to every game at the end of the season. These four losses that the Mavs have right now are going to be equally as important when it comes to balancing out who actually gets in the night at the end of the season. So them waiting for Kyrie to get back to be the best version of themselves by Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, whenever that window is he gets back, it could very well be too late by then.
Yeah, you make a good point. They don't have too much of a window, essentially. Mm. Okay. Got it. All right, guys. One more team. What's up with the T-Wolves, man? T-Wolves out here. Now, granted, once again, they are suffering from injury. Hamstring, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Hamstring
Yeah,
is
with
ailment,
Ed
which
Edwards. Yep.
yeah, is out. They're 500 right now, which is not too bad. Um, is this a mid-level market kind of situation, or is it one you just let it ride and not, react to the fluctuations of the market? What are you guys thinking on this one?
So from my lens, the T Wolves, the last 3 years have been a team that although they've been successful, reaching the conference finals two years in a row, they've been a complicated construct offensively, right? It's a lot of it has depended on the brilliance of Anthony Edwards to overcome the clunkiness of their roster. So when you see Ant out, you right for a couple weeks, and you see two young players that still really haven't stepped up yet. And I'm looking at one Rob Dillingham and what's his name, Terrence Shannon Jr. That they were counting on to be key rotation players, especially at the guard position. They're still counting on an ailing Mike Conley and a streaky Dante
Heavily.
DiVincenzo, right, to to round out their guard rotation. So it's kind of similar conversation to what we just had with the Mavs. From a guard standpoint, they're just not getting enough consistent production right now for their offense to be clear. Now, my boy Orange Julius, he does what he does, and I rock with Julius Randle still, coming out strong to start this season, but a lot of times, as great as his numbers can be, they're kind of additive. You need that primary, that primary player to really drive them home, and that's what Ant is. Now I give them, they've started slow the last 2 years, and you see where they've ended up. So I'm not as concerned about them as the other teams, especially when you've been to the conference final 2 years in a row.
Right.
It's easy to kind of coast on what you are capable of doing when you're at full strength. I think they'll be fine long term, but they have definitely in their bench. They've got some roster configuring to do.
Got you. All right, y'all. Team I mentioned last in the opening segment. These Orlando Magic, currently 3-4, 10 in the East. They were a team that everybody was high on last season about how they performed in the playoffs. They were very competitive, and we had not seen Orlando be competitive for years in the playoffs, and they looked like they were a solid team, although they were suffering with injuries as well last year. Right now, they're kind of sputtering. They're not as bad. Like I said, they're 3-4, right? But I think people were expecting for them to come off very solid, similar to what the Bucks are doing, similar to what the Knicks are doing. Just come off to a solid start. So, what are you guys thinking about these Orlando Magic? Was it, a flash in the pan, or do we need to invest highly into this organization?
I'm gonna let Evgen jump into this heavily. You know what I mean? Even though he decided not to mention Nas Reed in the Timberwolves conversation, but
Is it because
what
he's
I
from
w-
Jersey? Disrespect.
it's
Go ahead.
probably because he's from Jersey.
Just go ahead.
We'll let
Go
it
ahead,
cook.
man. The
But what I
grass.
will say is, what I will say in terms of like, it just has nothing to do with it. Probably anything substantial. When Paolo was talking crazy to Tobias, bro, I was here for
Really?
He,
You're here for the beef. That's what you're here for.
and he
Got it.
does this a bit.
it. Nah, he was letting Tobias know you a bum.
That is wild.
I ain't gonna hold you. For me, like that was just like I know nobody says it out loud, but Paolo was really letting you know, like, yo, fam, like, chill out, bro. You are not like that.
So
But
speaking of,
outside of that, like, you know what I mean, I'm a big Paulo fan, but you know what I mean, I'm gonna leave my pettiness to the side and let Evan give you some substantial conversation about this subject.
so speaking of Paolo Banchero, before I get into it from a statistical standpoint, I do want to say I do want to say I saw something on I'm not on social media like that, but when I am, I am. I saw something that I can't unsee. It said that Paulo Banchero plays just like Josh Smith.
Oh my
You
And I
God.
talking
can't
about
I can't
you
from the
talking
Hawks.
about
For the
Hawks Josh Smith,
Hawks
Atlanta
Josh
Josh Smith?
Smith, Jay Smooth. And, and
Jay
I
Smooth
can't
was
I
special,
can't
dog. That's crazy
unsee
that
it.
they say that.
I cannot
Jay
unsee
Smooth
it.
was something else, bro. Wow.
So
Mind you, big thing that they talk about in terms of like his like his size, weight, like he really is built like it. It doesn't look like it, but damn, that's crazy that you bring it up. Like he played like Jay Smooth.
uh, and
Go
so
ahead.
well the thing with Orlando, they still can't shoot. And they
No,
brought in Desmond Bain to unlock the shooting
They
right?
gave up
From
everything.
this
No,
season.
don't say that. Don't say they brought in Desmond Bain. No.
You're
Hans,
right.
say
They
your
gave
say
up
your
a lot.
signature term.
The
They get
blockbuster trade, Desmond Bain. Okay, go ahead.
and so they need him. They need him to unlock the dynamic. Me being, being someone who's played basketball, I think having two scoring forwards is difficult, and that's what they have. And there's a lot of my turn, your turn with Paolo and Franz, and I think Franz is like, no offense, I'm the most accomplished player on this team, right? You see what I do every summer, and I think Paolo's like, no offense, I'm the number one pick, I'm the best player on this team, and so there's a lot of back and forth between them. They still don't shoot the ball well. Their draft picks aren't working out well. And a lot of this is going to start falling on the coach
Mm-hmm.
because there's something stylistically about what they're doing that's not translating into a coalesced offense night in and night out. And when that's the case, and your defense is starting to decline from that top five level where it was at, now you're not getting it done on both ends of the ball. And so that's what we're seeing through the first
And
couple
then,
of weeks of the season.
also, you have to make a statement. You can't start off the season and you have four straight losses to teams in the Eastern Conference that you should be very competitive with. You lost to the Hawks, Bulls, Sixers, and Detroit, right?
Well,
If you were
we had to bring
supposed
the
to
Bulls like
be,
that. Come on.
if you no, but what I'm saying is these are people in your
No, I'm
conference
talking
you're supposed to
trash.
be
Yes.
competitive
No,
with,
agree,
right?
agree,
Like
agree, agree, agree.
you're supposed to split that at least, right? Get two of those four, but you lost all four of those. Like to me, it's like, come on, man, what are we really doing here? Like, we're just starting the season off. That's why it's kind of like, man, it's the Mickey Mouse effect, man. Mickey Mouse effect. But it is what it is, man.
So a point that in terms of it was making in terms of with the Franz and Paulo thing, I think what has contributed to that is when Paulo has been out, Franz has been the guy. So when Franz has been the guy of your team, and then you know what I mean, you couple that with his accomplishment outside of it, he's looking at Paulo like it's not even 1A 1B, it's just 1 and 1. Like, all right, cool. Like either of us can be number one guy, but realism, like yeah, the franchise believes in Paulo as being the number one guy, so they have to figure out how they want to play it.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Let's move on. Move on real quick. Let's move on to this anchor because that's what it is. The anchor called the New Orleans Pelicans. What what is happening? What
I'm
is
sorry, I
happening,
put myself
man?
on mute. My
What is happening with this anchor? Because this is all it is right now, man. What is happening? Like,
I,
come on, son. Come on, man.
I'll take that one. So, because I'm going to admit from the jump, I thought New Orleans was going to overachieve this year. I did. I thought Zion
Drink
healthy.
the Kool-Aid, man.
Well, and it was honestly bigger than Zion. Trey Murphy healthy. Herb Jones healthy. I like what they did from a draft standpoint with both Derek Queen and Jeremiah Fears. And I'm not even mad about the Jordan Poole trade. I felt like they had a top 8 that could be competitive in the West. And on night was their second game of the season when they went back and forth with the Spurs, I was like, okay, I see some fights, some spunkiness out of this team.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been downhill ever since. They're not just losing, they're not even being competitive in games. And I'll be honest, I didn't expect to see that coming. And the worst part is there's nothing they can do. This roster is what they're gonna have to work with because nobody wants to come there.
They lost to
Right.
Boston by 32. But go
No
ahead.
business, bro. No business. No business.
32, my guy.
No
Go
business.
ahead. I
If
just don't
this
get it.
if this isn't working with this roster, they're
Blow it
done.
up.
That's really
Blow it
what it is.
up.
They're
Blow it
done.
up. Zion to Memphis.
cooked.
Blow it up.
Wow,
Blow it
Zion
up. It's just
Memphis
wild. I just
cooked.
don't get it. Like Brooklyn, I understand, right? Understand what's going on with Brooklyn. Foolishness happening over there. But these Pelicans, I did not see that coming. I honestly thought the Kings would have had the 0-6 starts. Like if I was a betting man, I would have put it on the Kings or maybe even the Suns. But man, these Pelicans, bro, I got nothing else to
I
say.
just want to know, how do you you continuously fumble? At some point, whose fault is it? Is it you? Is it the team? Is it the GM? Is it the owner? But you guys have never. The closest that you guys had in making it done right is when Chris Paul played out there before he went back.
Yeah, man.
To going and bringing it back to Charlotte. But you guys have not got it right.
Facts.
Since Chris Paul.
Yeah. But that's what it is. Hopefully they get it together. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Before I end the show, I want to say the Trailblazers are playing great. They're playing awesome out here. Want to let the doubters, Christian, know we out here, third in the West right here. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate it. As always, hit us up on our social media, interact with us, let us know how you're feeling. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great time.
They got my boy Evan getting kicked out of here live on the pod. Goddamn.
Hey man, he gotta go.
All right,
man.
family. All right, yo, blessings, folks.
I ain't gonna hate. It's all good. Shout out to Philly, y'all. What's up, guys, and thanks for listening. I want you to do 2 things for me right now. 1, give this episode a thumbs up, and 2, be sure to subscribe to our channel. You can also follow us on all the socials at the 3on3 Podcast and send us an email at the 3on3podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate you, and tune in next week.